Okay. So what we're going to start tonight, we're going to start right here. This is your opening screen. When you first open Blender, this is what you're going to see. In File, you're going to have New. So if you want to open up a new scene, you're going to go New General. And that's going to give you this opening screen all over again. Okay, minus the splash screen that you get when you first open Blender. When you hit open, it's going to be to open an actual Blender file. The way that I just saved that model I was working on is the way it was as a Blender file. So save as, save copy is all going to give you a Blender file. Let me see if I can, right here. This is what the Blender file looks like. Can you see it on my desktop?
Yes.
Blurry. I can see, but it's blurry.
Yeah, because my desktop is orange.
Yeah.
So what happens is you get the little Blender logo on it, and depending on how your preferences are in your computer, then it's going to determine whether you're just going to have that logo with the name or whatever. Okay? And this file, being a Blender file, you can just click on it and it'll open it right to Blender. So that's what save is. And we're going to go through each menu item tonight. And all of these will give you a Blender file. When you link something, you're bringing something in from the library. Same thing with the pen, but the only difference is that when you append it, you bring it in and it does not automatically link to something else, okay? Data previews you don't need to know about. Import and export. When you're importing, there's different file types that you can import. So let's review them. So, excuse me, but really the only one you need to be worried about is a collada or a wavefront object. To upload into Second Life, they only take a collada, which is a day file. You'll hear people call it a day file, right? It'll take the BVH. A BVH is what your animation is. Your animations are all BVH files. STL, well, SVG, scalable is a vector graphic. Stanford PLY is, oh my God. You see it says a geometry file is actually part of scripting for Blender. STL comes from a different program. FBX, same thing. This one right here is a shitload of information all in one thing. Wavefront object, it is simply an object. It shows as an object even in your as an object, okay? And I'm not sure about X3D or VRML. When you export, you're going to export for Second Life, you're going to always export DAE, collided DAE. Now, once Avastar is in and you make your first clothing item and you rig it to your Avastar model, then it's going to have another one and it's going to say collided DAE Avastar. And that's what you will be exporting in. ABC, you don't need to worry about that. Again, it's a whole lot of information in one big file. This one, Universal Scene, you don't have to. PLY, STL, and FBX, you don't want to download in. Again, the only ones you need is OBJ and Collided. OBJ comes in handy when you're getting errors, and I'll make an error on purpose and show you what I'm talking about. So let's go to the edit menu. There's not very much here, but now take notes. You're going to go down to preferences, and this is part of your homework, and you're going to go to system, and right here where it says undo steps, I want you to put it at 256. The reason being, Blender will stop you at so many steps from being able to undo. That way you get a really good uh, part of, how you can undo things. Render, you don't have to worry about. Window. New window is going to do the same thing as over here when you say new general. Well, no, new window is going to give you a whole new window. I'm sorry. So now you,
Excuse.
uh-huh.
Can you go back? Can you go back to preference again? Like
Hmm. Yeah.
that.
So
I'm
we're going
taking
to
notes,
edit,
Dad. I'll help you with that part.
preference, system,
Uh
go
huh.
down to system,
Uh
and then
huh.
under memory limits, you're going to
Uh huh.
see undo steps and make it
Okay.
256.
Okay.
Okay.
Miss
When,
Angelic,
yes, ma'am.
sorry to interrupt.
Mhm.
Z- Zoza, Zoe, you haven't added Zoe to the class.
No,
Let me give her your.
my link. Yeah. Yeah. My name. And then I can add her after she adds me. Are you freaking kidding me? I asked her.
Here,
Oh my God. Thank you.
add her.
And I'm just going 90 next to nothing. So I am very sorry. I'm getting you added now, sweetheart. I am so, so sorry. And if you stay a few minutes after, I'll catch you up. Okay. Did she add me? I hate Discord, you guys. I am not good at it. I mean, I'm good at complicated programs, and this isn't even that complicated. And for the life of me, yeah, I did. No, in mine. Shit, it was for Zoe to my box. You're not in it either? I'm Hold on, I should be able to add you from my friends list. No, that's fine. So I'm looking for Jay or there you go. Did you get the invite? Okay. You're fine, sweetheart. If nothing, okay.
Here, in the middle, you should be friends. There's a green button that say add friend. Put her name, hashtag, and number. Capital A.
So next time, speak up, sweetheart, because my in-world voice is always going to be available as well.
She's just 14, but she's right.
Okay. Okay. I got you. I got you. I'm just being a moron right now. I'm gonna oops here and add. Now I just added her. Right, the legend of Zoe is what it was. Huh? That's what I'm looking for. You get an invite? Okay. So can you see my screen? Blender. Yeah.
That doesn't mean they don't want you. You should see launch screen. They want you as you are. But you're a grown woman. Someone they can always bring the drugs to. Someone who will always keep the cookie jar full.
I count 10. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and only 8 people in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So who's missing? Okay, so once Zoe comes in, then we're good to go. Did it let you in, Zoe? So on the voice call, it doesn't give you that option?
Click the live part. It should. Bring you forward.
How about it, Hazel? Can you use a few more voices?
Sure, the more the merrier.
This time I think you surpassed yourself.
For Pete's sake, but you need anything that didn't.
The mute the mic button. That's at the bottom. It should pop you in to be able to hear.
Are you in there? You're gonna have to be able to see. Hold on. That works even better. High five. What the fudge buckets is this? She get it? You get it? This is.
I promise you that was not just.
Huh?
You see this video? When you come in the Discord, when you come in the Discord,
years, Brinks has been trusted with keeping your money safe. Now, Brinks
you
introduces the Brinks Money Prepaid
always want to click
Mastercard to
on
help
this part
protect
right
what
here.
matters most. When security
That
matters
means
most
you're
to your
in the
family, you
password.
can trust Brinks.
So hear her
Managing a
talking.
family is a big responsibility.
And then
They
when
rely on
you
us. If we
get
rely
all the see this
When
in
having
here,
confidence
it's
that your
double
money
tap.
is safe,
When
Brinks
she
can
goes
help.
to
And
show her
integrity
screen,
and trust
the
in Brinks'
screen,
heritage.
you
I
see
trust
this.
Brinks to help you
Watch,
change
click that.
Hold on a minute.
when getting facts matters most. You can trust direct
No, you keep on.
Okay?
payments up to 2 days fast. Direct deposit puts our money in our hands faster than a paycheck.
And Brinks helps us spend responsibly.
Right,
We can track our purchases
so
and
you're
pay bills
not gonna
online.
close
The
you.
Brinks difference?
I'm definitely her.
But
I was gonna say, oh, you
And doing
hey,
it better.
talk to you because I don't know where I'm going.
Call now.
Okay, no, there we go.
Brinks Money Prepaid Master. There's no credit check and no cost. When having control of your money matters most, you can trust Brinks. Online, pay bills, buy groceries.
Y'all crazy.
We've gone over so far is the file menu and the edit menu. I'm going to go back to the edit menu. I want you to go to preferences, and then you're going to go to system, and you're going to set yourself at 256 for undo steps. And the reason that I do that, again, is because it makes it where you can undo a lot. When we're first learning, we want to be aware, and we want to be able to undo things that we jack up. It's really easy to mess up in here. So then we went to we went over import and export. I'll go over there with you one-on-one after class. Okay, we don't need to worry about render because we're not doing no ginormous models where we're rendering things. We're bringing clothes in, and that's about it. But you need a working knowledge of Blender, and that's why I'm so intense in it. Window is going to give you a whole new window, as you've seen. See, I have a whole new window right here that I can work in. And then new main window should give you your new one. Remember, file, new, general, right? So then they have help. Now let's move to layout. This is what a layout is. This is our layout right here. And so when we're going to always come in Blender in the layout window. We have modeling. So once you get to modeling, you notice your toolbar over here changes because it gives you what you need to be able to model. Does that make sense? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to give you what you need to be able to actually create in Blender to be able to make something. So, and that's why that menu changed. So when we go to sculpting, it's going to do the same thing. Your menu is going to change. You're going to come up with a group of buttons because these are all sculpting tools. Again, it makes it work. This makes it work like clay. See right here. And it is just another way to model in Blender. UV editing. UV editing is when you unwrap, if I was to unwrap this box and make it where, have you seen an AO map from the mesh models that are in World?
Yeah.
This is where
Yes.
they're made. This is exactly where they're made. It starts out as a UV map and then you bake it. Okay? Texture painting. We're going to need to know about texture painting because a lot of the times when you bring pants in, you have to readjust those weights. And so we're going to have to readjust some weights. Shading. This brings us to a whole nother beast in this version of Blender. So in shading, you go through all of these, and this is called your nodes. These are your node modes. This right here is called a met cap. Okay, but we're not even into that. You're not gonna need that again. Something else that you're not gonna need. We're not gonna animate. We're not gonna composite script or any of that, right? So we're gonna go back all the way to layout. So here, let's start here. So you have two modes. You have your object mode, which is the mode that we're in now. And then you can go down to edit mode. That's the mode that's going to allow you to be able to manipulate this mesh. Now, you can easily hit tab and switch back and forth. You notice my mouse is not moving. So you can switch back and forth with the tab button. Okay? And so here, each tool is going to give you a hover. That's your cursor. That's this little fella right there. Right here is a move tool. This is rotate, scale, transform. What is it when you transform it? It could be all kind of things. All kind of things. You have a notations. I don't never use that. I don't never measure. I use extrude. So to extrude, you can use E. E is the shortcut, right? We're gonna insert new faces. It gives you the shortcut right with them. So you notice when I hover over extrude, this E, as I'm pointing at my screen, y'all, like you can see my fingers. The E at the end of it, that is your shortcut. Same thing for insert faces, bevel, control B. When you just do B, you're doing a box. You're doing this. So B, and that allows you to do that so that you can select more than one thing. Loop cut, control R. Knife, poly build. Spin and smooth, then edge slide, shrink and fatten, shear and rip. So a lot of these tools you really, really, really don't need, but be aware of them. Be aware of them. When you leave, and when you're done learning about Blender, you should be able to go in, and whether you're designing clothes or you want to try something different, you should have enough knowledge where you can try something different as well. And that's my whole thing with Blender, is have enough knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So we reviewed the different views. Okay, so as each one change, you see everything changes. Now, if you hit N, you're going to bring up another menu over here. And this is your transform menu. So you can control your rotation in it. You see the block is going. You can, on the X-axis, the Y, the Z. If you hold the shift and do it, it's going to be a lot more controlled movement. You can control the location. You can control the location in here. And again, I'm going to hold the shift. And it's a lot smoother and a lot better controlled movement. You can scale in here. So you can scale your object in here. See? And the kicker and the thing to remember is that a lot of it moves like prims in Second Life. But so think of a prim on steroids. when you're using anything in Blender like that. The dimensions, you can change all of that. Go down the tool, and there's a lot of tool uh, options here. There's a few of them. These you don't need to worry about. View, you really don't need to worry about that either. So now we're coming over here only because we're on this side. So when you hit this down arrow, because of these 1, 2, 3, 4 little dots up there, that's going to be about your shading. She jumped up. Are you okay, Diamond?
Yeah.
Oh, because you had stood up. I didn't know if you were heading out. I can see both screens, and so it kind of threw me. So when we go to the different ways of shading this, you see how the light affects it? You see that? And all of that is controlled through here. Now, you really don't need that either. But do I want you to know it? Yeah, because I want you to be knowledgeable in Blender. So when you do run up on something odd, you're able to solve your own problems. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk about this. This is like those 4 arrows in Second Life. So I can click this and it's going to take me exactly to that view. I can click the Z. You see how it's just switching my view for me? We see that? Can we answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, we see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Remember, I didn't want to teach logs. I wanted everybody to be active.
Right.
Yeah. And so this is your magnifying button. All you have to do is you're going to click on it and hold it. Hold your click, left click and hold. And see, I can zoom in and out, in and out. Same thing with this one. This one is going to help you move your item. And see, you can move it however you click and hold. Those are the only 2 of those that you need to be concerned with. Okay. And that's kind of what this side is about. And then let me see what else is really important over here. I think that's about it up there. Yeah. And so over here, remember we talked about edit mode and object mode. So you can also come here and you can go to these different modes. You see? You can do object, edit, sculpt, vertex paint, weight paint. Weight painting is going to be important. We'll learn that later when we start bringing things in that you've created in Marvelous Designer. Okay, then your view. This is going to let you change perspectives. So select different ways for you to select. So one thing that's important is if, say you come over here and you have 3 things that you want to select, or one big thing that has several things, right? If you hit A, it's going to select everything in that scene. If you hit A again, it's going to deselect it. You see what I'm saying? So that is an easy way for you to select everything and deselect everything. If you hit Z, you're gonna get this menu up, and it's gonna let you choose the way that you view. So whether you're in wireframe, materials, or whatever, and that is the exact same thing that's in this menu right here. Okay, so some of these menus are redundant. They're very redundant. Um, shit. How far did I get? Add. Again, later I want you guys to be able to do whatever you want to do. So add, and right here where it says add mesh, you can add a sphere. You can add every primitive that's in world. So you can add a plane, a cube, a circle, a sphere, a cylinder, and a cone, and a torus. Those are the most of those are the exact same primitives that are in Second Life already. And so this would be a good place to show you. So I want to move one of them. So I'm going to hit this one and here, and I'm going to move it out. But remember, we talked about selecting everything. So as you see, neither are selected. If I come in and click, only one. If I do A, it catches them both. See what I mean? So and then we have a whole nother set of buttons. And I know I'm talking fast and I'm not doing it to be an asshole. I want you guys, true, you came to learn to make clothes, but there's so much to Blender and so much you can do. Maybe you'll take off and do your jewelry in Blender or something like that. And that's what I want you to be able to do. I don't want you to feel like, oh, I only learned clothes and I only learned this part of Blender.
Right. It's limited.
Yeah, I don't want that. And that's why I'm so intense in the Blender. And before we even start in Marvelous Designer, we're going to practice unwrapping, UV, baking, and stuff like that, because I don't want you guys limited. SL is such a huge place, and there's so much you can do. And I don't want to limit people. Dude. So there's just a lot you can do here. One really cool thing about this version of Blender is if you look right down here, you see down here at the bottom of my screen where it says change frame, box select, hand view, it's helping you. It's going to help you. So if you move your mouse wheel, you can pan the view. You see what I'm saying? And it's telling you, if you hit Alt, you get an axis snap. You see there? So it's going to help you. And anytime I hit something that takes me to a new something new, it's going to help you. And it's going to show down here. You see, because I keep hitting this, it's telling what I'm hitting. But anyway, so utilize this. Do not be afraid to look down there to see what you're doing. Over here, do you guys know what a vertex is?
No.
No.
Okay, so that's not the one I wanted. A vertex. Hold on, I'm trying to make a bunch of them for you. A vertex is this little booger right there. That is a vertex. A vertex takes two dots and connects them. That's your vertex. That's your vertex. So up here you have this. Now we can either select only, see vertex select only the actual vertex, which would be the dot, or we can go here and do edge select and select the edge between them, or here and we can get the whole face. You know what you get it? Are you getting it?
Yeah.
So SL has a limit on how many vertices it can bring in. And if you're curious as to how many vertices you have, I have a cube and it's right here how many vertices I have. You see that? I have one face.
Yes.
Yeah. Huh?
We're looking in
Yes, I
world.
see it.
No, on my screen.
Okay.
Everything I'm looking at is on Blender. So let me see if he got this lady added. This shit's getting crazy.
I see someone named Tracy just came in.
Okay. Hi, Tracy. How are you?
I'm good.
Okay. So are you looking at my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So after class, I'll go over parts. You're going to need, we'll go from over there. But so anyway, that's what a vertex is. SL only allows, I believe it's 65, 6,500, 500, 65, 500 vertices to come in on an upload. That's heavy. That is really heavy. And you would have to try to cut some of it down. Like that truck y'all seen I was working on when you popped in, when I first seen my blender. It was too heavy to bring in world. So over here you have you have like if you've ever used GIMP or Photoshop and it shows you layers. So right here you have collections. Well, your collection for this is the primitives, the mesh, the lights, the sphere, and the camera. So if you click on just this, you're gonna see where your camera is. That's your camera. Here's your light. That's how you get your quality of lighting that allows you to have shading on an object in here. And so it all shows under a collection. So I can hit this and blanket all out, or I can go individually and I can turn that light off or anything. If you've ever used Blender, like Photoshop or GIMP, let's look at this as these are my layers. This is my layer panel. And I think that makes it so much easier. That's how I look at it, is as my layers. You're gonna have to find ways to make things make sense to you. Blender can be really jacked up. So again, we have a transform window. So when we come right below that, all these windows are manipulative. You can move them. And make them bigger so you can see better. So see there, you can move them. So now we're working from what was the right side of the screen, and so we know that we did a cube, yes, and we can go in and rename that cube. So if you double click on it, you can rename it. Okay, and we shit, turkey. Well, we know that we did a cube. So let's go here. Now we're in this toolbox. So we have options that come in. I can mirror this on the on any axis, and it will mirror exactly what I've done. These are filters that you can add on. You don't need them. Custom properties, you don't need them. In here, this is when you're doing like a whole scene, and it has a lot to do with your rendering. And so you know how people bring in like big scenes like those sim surrounds. This is an area that they would have been in. Right here, same difference. It's going to give you a lot of your formatting. One really important, I bring everything out in a PNG when I bring them out, when I bring any of my stuff out. The metadata, that's going to give you all of this, your date, time, render, all of that. And it's important, but it's not that important. And so it's not something you're really going to deal with a whole lot either. You're not going to deal with this one as well. Nor are you going to deal with scene, but I'm so sorry, y'all. We've already discussed that. My mouth is getting dry. Surface, we're not going to really deal with that. Modifiers. Sometimes you're building something in here, whether it be clothes or whatever. right? And you need a modifier. What a modifier is it breaks, the way I break it down is it is a script on crack. So whatever, huh? Why you laughing at me? So whatever it's gonna do, it's gonna do that on crack. So it's like a one step. I got her done. You know what I mean? And it may
Yeah.
take a couple, but it's. I always look at it as a script on crack. So like if I was to use solidify, right? I could adjust the thickness that it's gonna go. Now, you cannot apply a modifier in see how it got real fat?
Yeah.
See, that's the solidify. Solidify is gonna add more vertices because it does that. It goes on crack. So there we go. So here again, we're just showing our cube and some little properties of it. Here, we don't need to worry about any of these. If we were doing characters or doing them exactly from scratch, then yes, we would need to be concerned. These are your lightings. This is where a lot of your lighting things come in. And it's crazy. Just kind of go through it. You know what I mean? Your vertex groups. A vertex group is exactly that. We have a vertex group up here. You see that? That's a vertex group. So under this, you have UV mapping. So but we're not going to do that right now. And I will get ahead of myself, so I have to stop myself. So this is where you have some specifics for your UV mapping, your face maps, normals, texture space, remesh, all of that. Under here, you have what's called materials. So you know how people are bringing things in world and say it's a box, but only two sides have one color and the third side don't have no color and they're not using no texture. This is where
Okay.
they do that at. They assign each surface a material. And I'll go through an easy way to do that. Again, I don't want you guys limited. If you feel like I'm giving you too much information, stop me. Okay? And then here is where you can add your own textures. You can add textures, do your mapping, and all of that kind of stuff. So what met capping does, and the only reason I'm gonna say something about it is Isaiah, are you interested in doing like cars and stuff? He said no, thank you. But even if you go into like jury, they have these things called met caps. They're really awesome. And when I go into mines, you see all of these popping up.
Yeah.
That's what this box is going to take on. Some of the really shiny things you see in Second Life are because they met capped them, the way that light radiates off of it. See there?
Oh, okay. I see that.
Yeah. And it does follow into Second Life.
Okay.
So what I'm going to have you guys do tonight, we're going to limit it a little bit tonight. What I'm going to have you guys do for homework for Wednesday, right? I want you to go in. First off, I want your preference set to the undos. I want that set. So that's going to be one picture. I want that set to the 256, 236 like I asked. That's going to be one picture. I want you to take squares and or any primitives. I'm still calling them primitives that I'm going to show you how to add them. And what you're going to do is you're going to bring them in and you're going to play with them. I want you to play with them. I want you to play with the controls. I want you to play with all of this and just get used to how things move in here. Use as much as you want to or as little as you want to. I do ask that you add at least 3 things. And again, you go right up here You go to add, mesh, and well, circles are not good to add. They work in a whole different way. So you're gonna go to add mesh, and so like if you add a cylinder, um, just add things, play with them. Z will quickly take you to wireframe, or you can go right here again. I want you to tab into edit mode. I want you to select vertexes. And if you hold down shift, just like in Second Life, you get more than one. I want you to pull them. I want you to feel controlling things in here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Okay.
And yeah. And so that's your homework. But I want to see what you did. And I'm not expecting anything great or fabulous. I'm expecting to see a whole bunch of messes. I mean, I'm being really honest. I'm expecting to see a whole bunch of messes.
Right.
So let's go into other views. Okay. So we see how I have this right now, right?
Mhm.
And right here it tells you your view. We're at user perspective, right? Well, we was. So if I hit number 1, now I'm in the front of that. You see that?
Yeah.
Now I'm in the front of it. Okay? That's
Okay.
number 1. Number 2 is user perspective. Now I'm kind of at a really flopped up angle. I don't like it all. Okay? Number 3, right, orthographic. So I'm on the right side of it. Okay? Number 4, user perspective. And number 7, top ortho. So now I'm standing up and I'm looking straight down on it.
Okay.
Number 8 is Number 8 is user perspective 2 different ways. 8 and 9. Okay. So those are the short keys for that. So as I'm teaching you short keys, write them down. So let's review them again. Okay. We're not going to do the perspectives. Tabs. That toggles you between edit and object mode. It's going to toggle you from edit to object mode.
Mm-hmm.
Z is going to toggle you from
You said P or C?
Z as in zebra.
Okay.
Oh, Z.
It's going to toggle you from a solid mode, and it's going to bring up this thing here where you can go to wireframe.
Wireframe.
Right.
Okay.
So S, if you wrote it, do you remember what A was for?
Select all.
Yes,
Select all.
ma'am. Yes.
And for
I
what?
like select all.
Oh, select all. Right.
So if you push A once, you're going to select everything. If you push it again, or it may take a couple of taps, it'll deselect. So with everything selected, I'm going to hit S and I'm going to scale.
Scale.
So now, you guys ready?
Yes.
If you do SY 90, you see what happened? I scaled it 90%.
Y-axis. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Huh?
Okay. So if you was to do that same thing in the Z-axis, it's gonna go that way too, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. So now let's rotate. So we're going to hit R and it's going to rotate it. We hit RX and you see it rotates it on the X axis. So you can hit S and an axis and a number to scale on a direct axis. or you can just hit S and scale everything. And you want to make sure you have it all selected and you're in edit mode. Or you can hit R and an axis and a number and rotate that way as well. So S, R. So tonight you've learned S for scaling, R for rotate. You've learned tab to go back and forth, to toggle between edit mode and object mode. Z is going to give you your different frames, huh?
Okay.
Z is going to put you in any of these, whether it's solid material or wireframe. It's going to bring up that sub menu. Control Z is going to undo. Control Z is going to undo. Control Z is going to undo. And who can tell me what your homework was again?
We're
Drop
going to go in and play with the shapes. Select the prims, any prims, and we're gonna play with the shapes.
Right. And you want to practice with some of these, like the extrude and stuff like that. So another good one to know going out of here tonight. X is delete. So when you get to X, you can only do edges and faces. You can do the vertices. You can do vertices, edges, or faces. What is a vertice?
The points between each.
The point.
Right.
The point. Yes, it's the actual point. The edge is what's in between the 2 points. A face is the solid piece right here. So, oops, we don't want to go there. X. So, So you can delete, when you're doing delete, you can delete them in all of those ways. Limited dissolve is going to take some of them out, but usually that's used on like a lot, like very dense meshes. So I want you to play with this as well.
What did you say the face was again?
The face, this is the face right here. Hold on. This is a face. Just that one piece right there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this big solid part. This is your edge right here. That's an edge.
Okay, how are you bringing up that menu? Did you say X?
X, exactly. Hit X.
Okay.
And can you explain what limited dissolve is again?
Limited dissolve is usually used on very dense meshes. And what it does is, hold on, and I'll show you exactly what it does. How about that? So. So let's bring this one in. Where'd he go? So it's a heavy mesh that I'm bringing in. So in this car model, I'm gonna go to wireframe. You see how dense that looks?
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's just take one part of it though. So we're just going to work with this one little piece right here. But now, again, if I go into wireframe, look how still dense it is,
Right.
right? So now if I do X, oops, edit mode, of course. Shit, it's slow. It just got real. And when you get over here, you're going to have to, well, it selected all of it. So now so you've seen how dense it was. And then I'm going to hit X, limited dissolve. Did everything unselect? It did. I think my computer's tired. Limited dissolve. Come on.
I'm so glad you were taking me.
Blender said it's sick of me today.
Mm-hmm.
So, see how undense it is now?
Right.
So what it did is it dissolved vertices without taking out the detail.
Okay.
And that's why it's called limited, because it didn't take the actual detail of the car, see?
Right.
But it did dissolve a lot of those vertices that were all over the place. So it's not so dense. This is actually still really a dense mesh, but you get the gist of what it does.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
Right.
Okay. That's a ginormous file. Is there anything that you want to know that you think you might be able to use with your homework? No?
Can you refresh me on that preference thing?
On the preference, you want to go to edit, preference, system, undo steps, and make it 256. Anything else?
256.
Yeah. You're just taking it all the way up. That'll slide. If you put your all of these are sliders. If I just kind of clicked right there and slid on it. So you can slide it until it gets to the end.
And didn't you say something about it was 256 and 3 something? What was it?
No, 256.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Jamal, did you get it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Everybody else get it? Isaiah, you got that? Zoe, you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I'm asking the people that I'm not hearing from. That's what's going
I
on.
got it.
So
Yes.
go ahead and do that for your homework tonight. And I will and like I said, email it to me. I need it before Wednesday, so I need it before Tuesday. So like Tuesday evening at the latest, please, so I can look at it and then I can tell how to better approach things as well. And if you're seeing something when you're doing it, you can always get a Blender. I call them cheat sheets, but they're not very accurate. Some of the features that were in the other Blender are not in this one.
Now,
So
I wasn't in the first part of the
the class, that's Tracy, right?
J.
Jay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so all you missed was the file and the edit menu, and then we grabbed you.
Okay, great.
These two right here. And that's where I talked about importing and exporting. And basically for Second Life, you want collided DEA. And once we install Avastar, you'll have collided Avastar, DEA Avastar. And that's the one we use for Rick Close. BVHs can come into Second Life. Those are how our animations are made.
Okay.
And objects. So but you can't import an object, but sometimes that object, exporting as an object, will solve a problem.
Okay.
Anything else?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
I'm okay.
You're okay? I don't know who said that because I look
Yeah.
at the classroom, not the not
Yeah, I'm
the.
okay.
Okay. Just as long as everybody's okay. So go ahead, make sure you have that email address. I'm going to leave it up there, and send me those screenshots.
Okay.
Send me those screenshots. And well, we went almost an hour and a half. Everybody else, anyone who missed the Zoe, we got you in before it went too far, so you're good. Tracy,
Yes.
you're the only one I'm gonna ask to stay put.
Okay.
I think everybody else got everything else, so you stay put with me, okay?
Okay.
And y'all, we're done with class for the night. Y'all have a beautiful evening.
You too.
Excuse me. Yeah, my throat done got dry. Stay out my box. No, I'm just joking. There's a lot of days that I'm